This video is not for kids. Go do your homework.
So if you care to find me, look to the western sky. You know what? Don't judge me. I know I said I wasn't going to buy these dolls, and then I got severe FOMO after watching everybody redo their Elphabas on TikTok, so I caved. Sorry. Today we're going to do a pretty casual unboxing. I think we're going to do a long, cozy video today because I've purchased a lot of new things in a desperate attempt to complete my collection, basically, and have something to do when I move to Australia in December. So yeah, I realize I've only announced this on Patreon, but I am officially moving to Australia in December at an undisclosed date because I have like some low-key kind of suspicion that somebody's going to try and stalk me at the airport. But this has been a long time in the making, and I'm sure you don't care super much about that, but that's what's happening. I'm basically speed running my American Girl doll collection because I'm going to have to take a small break from buying because I'm going to be moving to an entirely different country and getting things set up. But I know a lot of people have been asking, what is the future of this channel if you're not going to be an American Girl anymore? And that's basically nothing is really going to change, especially long term. You know, it's like I said, in the short term, I'm not going to be like buying a bunch of brand new things and having them shipped there because, you know, I've just got to figure all of that stuff out. But the channel's not changing. I'm not going anywhere. I will still be buying things. I'll be doing rehabs. We'll be doing the podcast. Like, this channel's not going anywhere. And in fact, it's probably going to ramp up just a little bit once I get settled in the new place because we are completely shutting down our other business that we've been running for 12 years. So we're basically going to be living off of my Patreon, my YouTube income, and savings. And that's pretty much it. Oh, well, and the like support of family members as well. So yeah. So anyway, I have been speed running Kit's collection. I swear I've bought most of it within the last few weeks, and I'm trying to like kind of scoop up the last of the things I want that are on americangirl.com so that I can, you know, enjoy them on the other side. I'm probably not going to end up seeing everything again until January, so I have like a couple more weeks to sort of enjoy my collection, and then it's all, I've already started the process, but I'm about to ramp it all up in about a week, and everything's going in boxes, and I probably am not going to see it all again until January. Hopefully, if it doesn't like blow off the sea container into the ocean. But yeah, today we're going to do a good old-fashioned unboxing. We're going to be looking at the Wicked dolls. We're going to be looking at the Janie and Jack collection that I bought most of, not all of it, but a good amount of it. I got all the good stuff. We're going to look at a brand new Create Your Own doll that I bought and just got, and maybe a couple of other things if I feel like we have time. But yeah, we're just going to do a slow, cozy, casual unboxing today. I ended up getting the Wicked dolls because I came to my senses. Again, I have been trying to sit out a lot of the collector doll releases because it gets to be a lot, and I don't want to have the compulsion to just buy every single thing that American Girl makes and puts in a really nice box. So I'm trying to be good about not buying all of that stuff, and if I'm not enjoying stuff that I've already bought, just selling it. So I thought I was being a good boy, and I didn't order the Wicked dolls because I was like, well, you're moving. Do you really want to cart those all the way to Australia? And just because something is made after a movie that you really, really, really love, do you really need the dolls to go with it? And I thought the answer was no, but it turns out the answer was actually yes. So yeah, like I said, I saw a lot of people really enjoying their Elphaba dolls, just redoing the micro braid or redoing her braids into micro braids and, you know, customizing her. And I've had some notes, and I still have some notes about this doll, but at the end of the day, once I started seeing real world pictures and videos of her, I felt really sad that I didn't get her because I do love this movie so much. I swear it's like one of my favorite movies of all time, which says a lot because I generally don't like movies made after the early 2000s. So I almost considered buying from a reseller, but I really didn't want to do that. Now, that said, I did end up getting two of these because they showed up on Amazon randomly. They've shown up a couple of times. I don't exactly know why, but American Girl has restocked them on Amazon a couple of times. And I did notice, just randomly checking one day, that they had a bunch of them in stock. I think they were around for like a couple of hours. So I went ahead and bought two because you know how it goes. Sometimes you get a dented box, and that actually happened to me with my Glinda. So I did end up getting two of each. One of the Glindas I'm returning because the box was so damaged. And then both of my Elphabas ended up being good. So I'm going to sell one of them. Maybe you can check my shop now. I probably will just list it in my shop. Not like at a reseller price, but it will. I'm not selling her for what I paid for her, because what's going to happen is somebody will buy her and just put her on eBay, and I could use the extra cash for my collection right now. So I haven't decided how much I'm going to charge for her, but it'll be a good price if you're looking for one and have, resorted to paying more than retail. Anyway, who cares? So check the website, idreamofjohnny.com. She might still be available, but yeah, I did end up purchasing two and had a really hard time picking which one I wanted, because Elphaba seems to be really consistent in terms of eye shape and hair. Like, I didn't see any flaws in either of them. I haven't seen a messed up Elphaba. I have seen some messed up Glindas that we'll get to in a minute. But originally I ended up purchasing only Glinda because Elphaba was sold out. And I thought I wasn't going to want to have Glinda without Elphaba. That seemed kind of weird. But at the end of the day, I was like, that doll is super pretty. I do think that Glinda is the prettiest. I'm going to go ahead and take the box lids off because they're just reflecting like my gross bedroom. So we'll take the box lids off for a second while I'm yapping, and maybe I can like stay on topic for once. But anyway, so yeah, Elphaba I think has been really, really consistent. Glinda has not been so consistent, but the ones that are good are really, really good. I think that they are the prettiest Marie Grace head sculpt dolls that I've ever seen American Girl do. So I was really, really excited about Glinda just as a doll. So what I ended up doing was purchasing Glinda, just saying like, all right, I might even just sell her outfit and everything and just keep her as part of my like Truly Me collection and just have her be like a modern doll. But then literally like the next day, Elphaba showed up on Amazon. So I was like, you know what? Let's just have a Wicked collection. I didn't end up buying the extra outfits. I don't think I will use or enjoy them. So anyway, I think we will look at Elphaba first because I am not going to change her outfit today. I think I am going to change Glinda. So I'm going to sit her over here and then we'll talk about her box when we unbox Glinda. But the boxes are more or less the same. The lining on the inside is different, but other than that, they're pretty much the same. I can't remember if the box backs are different, but again, does it really matter? But yeah, I remember, we've talked about Elphaba a lot already on the channel and the Patreon, but just a quick recap of my thoughts on this. I don't love Elphaba's eyes. There's actually a chance I may customize her in the future. For now, I've made the decision not to because I might regret it, basically. So after I've had her for about maybe 6 months or so, I might consider changing her eyes for a deeper shade of green, pinwheel eyes. I may give her a little bit of extra blush, we'll see. And then I might also consider redoing her braids to be more like micro braids, which would be more screen accurate. But I never know. I feel like I tend to be somebody that cares more about factory accuracy more so than screen accuracy. So that's why I'm like a little bit nervous to change her, because I think it might bug me later on that mine is customized and not factory original. But that's just me. I've seen how much fun everybody has had with their Elphaba dolls, and that's making me consider just customizing mine and enjoying something for once and not having to treat it like a museum piece. There's a lot of joy in that, I have to say. So I am just going to go ahead and take my Elphaba out of the box because I do want to see her, and she probably will ultimately be displayed in her box, but I do think it'll be nice to have her hair down and everything. So I'm going to do that with both dolls. So I ended up getting number 3,689 out of 6,000, which not an interesting number, but I gotta say, I'm not a person that cares about edition numbers on newer stuff like this. They were all made at the same time and every doll is exactly the same. So I don't think this adds any extra value unless you get like a super low number. Somebody might care about that, or even like number 6,000, but it's not important to me at all. So we'll put that back in there and forget about it for the rest of time. So yeah, I'm going to try and be careful taking all of this stuff out of here while we're chatting. But yeah, my biggest gripe with Elphaba is her eye color. I do like it a little more in person, but I just think she's lost a little bit of her humanness by not having like, some deeper colored eyes. I just think she's a little bit washed out because of that eye color. They look a little bit, I don't know, they're just a little bit, they're almost evil looking, and Elphaba's not evil. That's like, I mean, I know that might be a spoiler, but it's a very mild spoiler. I feel like this makes Elphaba look just a little bit evil, and I think most of us that watch Wicked identify with her and understand that, I can't remember what the quote is, but it's like, are some of us born wicked, or is wickedness thrust upon us? Something along those lines. And if you're any person of minority status in this world, you know exactly how Elphaba feels, which is why so many of us sobbed uncontrollably when we watched Wicked. So in true Mattel fashion, she is really strapped and taped in here. So while I'm taking her out of the box, I feel like I should chat a little bit about consumerism, because this is obviously a bit of a consumerist video today. And it's something that's been weighing on my mind a lot with this channel, because I don't want to be one of those channels that just is all about how much money I spend on the hobby, because it can be so easy to fall into that trap. Because when I first started this channel, a lot of the videos that were doing well in the beginning were videos where I talked about what things cost. And obviously, like, this is a stupid hobby to get into if you're trying to like make money or increase your net worth. We get into this hobby because we love these things, and the history of them is so interesting. The lore is interesting, and that's where the true love of this hobby comes from. But when I started this channel in 2022, there were not a lot of adults making this type of content on YouTube. And thankfully, we're starting to see more and more crop up. But I do think that there was sort of that voyeuristic factor with my channel in the beginning, especially when people would be able to log onto YouTube and see someone that spent like thousands of dollars on a single American Girl doll. There really wasn't a lot of content like that on YouTube at all in the beginning. And I think that's one of the things that really helped my channel kind of take off really early, is because it was content that people weren't used to seeing. And like I said, in a way, I was like very voyeuristic, because most people don't collect American Girl dolls the same way that I do. I think that I'm actually more of an anomaly than your average collector. But as I got into the YouTube channel and started trying different things with, different video concepts and, buying newer things and reviewing them, I actually realized how much I actually just love American Girl as a company. And obviously that can sort of devolve into like, oh, well, I'm just going to buy everything that American Girl releases, and then I'll have content and I can justify it that way. I actually had a conversation with my friend Jeffrey about this as well. I'll put his channel link in the description if I can remember, but he's talked about similar things too. It's like you can just sort of fall in the trap of like, oh, I'm a doll YouTuber, so I have to buy the latest thing and do a review on it so that my channel stays relevant. And the slippery slope on that is sometimes you can buy things that you don't really love, and you just, end up wasting money basically. And thankfully I've only done that once. I've been pretty open about it. The only time I've ever bought a doll that I didn't really want, and I kind of did it like with the excuse of I'm just going to get every doll ever and it'll be content, was the Frozen dolls. Like that was so stupid of me to buy those dolls. But thankfully I recognized that really quickly and, sold them when I could, and I quit doing that. But yeah, I do think that there was like a short period on my channel, especially in the beginning. I mean, you could go back and look at the thumbnails where like there were thumbnails that were basically like, look how much money I spent on American Girl dolls. And those of you that have been here a while understand that the way I have built my collection has been through a lot of hard work, reselling things and appraising things. Like, it hasn't just been like, oh, I'm a millionaire, I buy every single thing I want. I've worked really, really hard to get the things that I have. And that includes rare things that are one of a kind. I think there were some people that were upset about some of the prototypes that I had in my collection, but I think people forget that I have my own platform and I am more visible than a lot of those Facebook groups are. So I think a lot of people were like, oh, you did something shady to get, like, no, I'm connected because I have this channel. I'm very visible. I am very forthright with all the information that I have. I try and educate people because it's fun and I enjoy it. And I don't like gatekeeping dolls or information. I mean, I guess technically if you call it gatekeeping, having a bunch of one-of-a-kind stuff and not like giving it away to people. But part of how I've been able to acquire so much stuff and so much rare stuff is being really visible and trying to be as generous as I can, at least with my knowledge. And sometimes that results in me getting opportunities to get things before other people do. But even in addition to that, like a lot of what I've gotten has been through buying lots of things. So not just going and buying like a single dress for Kirsten's collection, but actually going and purchasing like, I don't know, a lot for like $500, maybe even $1,000 sometimes, and then selling all of the stuff that I have or don't want from it, and then keeping what I like wanted from the lot. And then, so usually with that, I ended up with the things that I wanted from the lot and having some extra money left over. And instead of just like spending that money like personally or whatever, I just took that extra money and bought more doll stuff. And that's, when you do that for years, then all of a sudden you have a really large American Girl doll collection that you have to insure because it's gotten valuable enough. But with all of that, and also like as the channel becomes more and more popular, you get more and more casual viewers, and not everybody understands your whole shtick. They don't understand like how you've gotten to where you've gotten with your collection. Especially on some videos, it can just look like, oh, this guy just buys whatever he wants and has like a shopping addiction, which, to be fair, maybe I do have a shopping addiction, but I've tried to at least keep it under control by being responsible and selling things and rotating things and, you know, not going into debt and stuff. Because I do know people that have gone into debt to purchase something that they really wanted. And this is a like judgment-free zone about that stuff. I don't judge somebody if they, you know, bought something because they were just in a really bad place and that bought them a few extra days of joy in a bad spot in their life. It's, you know, you end up paying for it later on. So it's really important to try and avoid doing those things. But certainly it's like judging people for doing that is not cool in my opinion. But I've worked really hard to do all of this and not go into debt. And, you know, I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on American Girl stuff, but I've also sold thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of American Girl doll stuff as well. So it's been a lot of rotating that's been happening. But what I guess I was getting at with all of this is that I don't want to be one of those channels that just encourages people to go buy every single thing that is released because it's going to make your life better. I know that we're sort of having a bit of a class consciousness moment, at least in America right now, where people are really becoming aware of all of the evils of capitalism. And sometimes it feels like I'm contributing to it a little, at least a little bit, by promoting all of these new releases. And we're going to look at some things today. You know, I probably have about $1,000 worth of stuff that I'm unboxing in today's video. And I had the slight temptation, and maybe I will, so don't judge me if I did. I had the slight temptation of being like, oh, $1,000 American Girl doll haul, but that I'm really exhausted by those things. I'm curious if you are too, because it just gets so tiring to think that like you have to be rich to collect something or even just enjoy it. Like you don't have to buy American Girl dolls to enjoy American Girl dolls. So yeah, I guess I'm having this conversation today because I don't want it to come across as like, oh, I'm just spending willy-nilly. One of the reasons I bought all of this stuff is because it is stuff that I actually want. And for me to get it even a month from now, it's going to cost me twice as much between like shipping and everything. So now was the time to get it if I was going to get it. But yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts about like the direction of this channel because it's becoming more and more important that this channel does well. It doesn't have to have like 100,000 subscribers, but I am going to be starting to rely more heavily on it to pay bills. And I want to make the content that people want. And I also want to stay true to myself, which also means like, hey, you don't have to spend $1,000 every week on American Girl dolls to be happy. So yeah, I know that there are people that also just watch this channel to enjoy these things vicariously, which I think can be really cool too. In fact, a lot of the doll content I watch is actually not American Girl doll content because I don't know, I've just been in this hobby for so long and I'm actually more interested in looking at other channels that like, especially that like collect really vintage stuff, like stuff even like before the 80s. I like learning new things about dolls. And so I typically won't watch like 5 unboxings of this Elphaba doll, especially if I'm going to be getting one. But anyway, so yeah, I guess that's sort of my tear on that today is like, I'm trying to like make consumerist content basically as cautiously as possible because again, it feels like there's just so much pressure to buy things when you're in a community and you feel like you're missing out because I fell for it too. Like I really felt like I was missing out by not getting an Elphaba doll because I love the movie so much and I was trying to be good and then I saw everybody get theirs and I was like, well, now I want one. So anyway, I guess that's my disclaimer for today's video. So yeah, we'll hop off of that and we'll actually talk about Elphaba, who is extremely gorgeous. I gotta say, the McKenna head sculpt looks really, really good on her. As I've said a million times, my preference would have been Claudie, but to have her in person and see everybody else's Elphabas, I cannot complain about McKenna's head sculpt on her. I think it's really, really great. And I don't have McKenna's head sculpt in my collection because there are so few dolls that have it. And I'm really trying to minimize the amount of like Mattel era American Girl dolls that I have in my collection because I collect other things than American Girl dolls. But it is always really fun when you can add a new head sculpt to your collection, and I think this is the best. It's kind of hard because her skin is green and not like a more human skin color, but I gotta say this is some of the best that McKenna's ever looked. I think the biggest thing they've done is changed her eye sockets. The original McKenna's that we saw from the World by Us range had a lot larger eye sockets, and I think that might have been one of the reasons people felt like she didn't look as American Girl-like, which is kind of an odd argument to me, especially because that's sort of like what the Dreamer dolls looked like from like the like 87 and then like the early 90s for Felicity and Samantha. So it's not like a new thing to have an American Girl doll with whites under her eyes, but people were really hard on the McKenna head sculpt, unfortunately. And I thought it was a really cool one. But I do think that the thing that people liked the least about her were how wide open her eyes were. And they've definitely addressed that in this head sculpt. And pretty much every Elphaba I've seen, including this one, her eye sockets cover the bottom of her iris. And that just gives her like less of a deadpan kind of stare, because it can, if her eyes don't point in the right direction, if her eyes like point straight ahead and you see a lot of whites under the eyes on a doll, it can make them look a little more like, I'm trying to think of like a neutral way of describing this, but it can make them look just very like they sort of have a dead stare. Whereas if you lift the bottom eyelids, it kind of gives them a sense of like almost smizing a little bit, to quote Tyra Banks, but it just sort of gives them a little bit of like pensiveness or joy. So I think that's what has happened with Elphaba. This doll looks very happy to me. And I think the biggest reason for that is they have shrunken the eye sockets a little bit, basically like brought that lower quote unquote lid upward, and it's made her eyes not look as wide open. And I think that was a good change. I would be so interested to see this doll in like a number 35 skin tone now that they've updated the head sculpt, because I'm curious what McKenna looks like now. But boy, oh boy, is this a gorgeous doll. I have seen some really cool things done with this doll. A lot of people, like I mentioned before, have been giving her micro braids, and I think it looks really good and screen accurate. That was actually one of the biggest criticisms of this doll, is that people were upset that these aren't micro braids, because they're not. Like these, like if these were coming out of a human head at this scale, this is still not micro braids. I really wish they had done them in the way that they do the Barbies that have micro braids. And I'm kind of, they must have tried it. I can't imagine they didn't try it, but I would have thought it would have been a faster way of making these. I can almost guarantee you that these were either hand or like very rudimentary machine braided, because this is a normal like curly American Girl doll wig that's been braided, like sectioned and braided. But like with the Barbie micro braids, if you look those up, they have like really tiny braids that are done by machine, and they're so small that it's basically like, I'm guessing like one really long rope of hair that's sort of just like heat cut like in like dedicated lengths and then sewn. In Barbies they're usually rooted, but I figured that they could have made a wig out of pre-braided micro braids. I think that would have looked so cool. Like I said, they probably tried it because it is Mattel after all, and they already have that technology. I really wish they could have made her a little more movie accurate, because it is really important to treat, and I consider at least the movie Elphaba, some people have educated me on this because I haven't seen or like read the original book, because I think that the original Wicked book dealt, according to what people have told me, dealt more with like anti-Semitism, and that's sort of what Elphaba's character was meant to represent. But at least as like far as the movie goes, there are a lot of, I would say undertones, but it's like very heavy overtones of Elphaba being treated the way she is because of her skin color, which is obviously an allegory for how Black people are being treated in America and other parts of the world. And so many of us see Elphaba, at least the movie version of her, as Black, especially because she's played by a Black actor as well. So I would consider this Elphaba to be very Black coded. So as that pertains to this character, I think treating her hair with respect is a really important thing to do, because, and again, this is not like, I'm not the person to have the definitive opinion on this, but from pretty much every Black person that I've ever known or listened to, hair is an extremely important part of Black culture, whether that's African Americans or Black people across the world. And not only that, they have experienced a ton of discrimination, and, with specific regards to their hair. So it's a really important thing that when we make abstractions of Black people through dolls, that they are done with respect. And like I said, it's not really my position to say whether it was disrespectful to make her braids this big or not. Like I said, I can imagine that most people, based on what I've heard, wish that this was not only screen accurate, but just a little bit more respectful, because from the best of my knowledge, it was Cynthia Erivo's idea to give Elphaba micro braids. And again, I thought that was a brilliant decision because it adds to the quote unquote blackness of the character of Elphaba. So again, a really important canonical decision made on behalf of this character, and for it to not be represented accurately to me is a little bit of a bummer. Now, that said, these braids are beautiful objectively. If we weren't comparing her to the screen Elphaba, this doll is gorgeous, and I would hope that we will see this hairstyle again in future American Girl dolls in the Truly Me line. Hopefully an American Girl of the Year. Like, I would be stoked to see this doll with like number 35 skin tone, and maybe a different eye color, and these braids as American Girl of the Year. That would be pretty awesome. So I don't want to spend this entire video saying like Mattel sucks, you did a terrible job, but I just think it's really important to remember that hairstyles on black dolls are meant to be treated with respect to their culture. So anyway, that being said, I do think this doll is extremely gorgeous. So I'm so late to the party on this. We probably don't need to go through every single detail on the doll. I really just kind of wanted to hang out and talk about my thoughts and feelings about the doll world and about these dolls specifically today. But I'm really, really glad I got her. I think she's going to be fun to play with in terms of like redressing too. I've seen some people put her in the birthstone outfit. It was the diamond. I can't remember what month it is. It's the silver one for diamond, and sort of made her like an alien creature, which I think looked really, really cool. I guess because of the green skin, like she can kind of be again, I don't know if that's disrespectful or not. You'll have to tell me in the comments if that's an insensitive thing to do, but just on like an aesthetic level, this doll dressed in silver looks really, really gorgeous. I actually went to go buy that outfit, but unfortunately it's sold out. So I will not be doing that super soon. I hope I don't regret cutting her hat out of this, but I've already started, so that's what we're doing. She's not too terrible in terms of being sewn into this box, so hopefully I can get her displayed correctly in here. Because like I said, I kind of want to get them like de-boxified before I put them back in. So, you know, we can actually appreciate Elphaba's hair. Can't remember which way this hat is supposed to tilt, but here we go. I think this is perfect for Halloween. I'm filming this like just a couple days before Halloween, so this will be really fun. Maybe I'll watch Wicked again because I am so excited to see the like Wicked 2 basically. I think that's what I want to do for my birthday that's coming up in a couple, well, my birthday's before Wicked, but I think I might just wait and then go see Wicked 2 in the theaters, and that'll be my birthday treat. I'm really, really excited about it. But anyway, here's my Elfie. I think she's super cute. I absolutely adore this doll. It was worth buying her, and I'm really grateful that I got her for basically the original retail price after she had sold out on the website. But I will say, if you can be patient and you really, really want this doll, there's probably a good chance that her price on the reseller market will come down. They usually do. I mean, not for every doll. This is a really popular character, so it's possible that it could go up when the movie comes out. But if you can be really patient, a lot of times these collector dolls will come down in price. Usually they're the most expensive right after the doll sells out, and they just, you know, take advantage of people that are trying to get them. I would imagine typically for like a birthday, like a gift or something. So anyway, here is my gorgeous, gorgeous Elphaba doll. They did a pretty good job on these outfits too, I gotta say. Again, I'm not redressing this one today because I've got a couple of other dolls to unbox, and I know that we're gonna go long on the create your own doll unboxing because I filmed it yesterday, but you'll see that in a little bit. But yeah, this is Elphaba. I'm gonna like tidily put her back in her box and then take a break to rest my voice, and then we'll be back to unbox Glinda. All right, I left my window open on my break, so if you see a fly or two flying around, that's why. And if one lands on my head and Mike Pence's me, I guess that will be that. Oh, also not to take a huge political turn because this is meant to be a cozy, relaxing video today, but now would be a good time to donate to your local food banks if you have some extra food or money lying around that could help out your local community. Again, I'm trying not to use political buzzwords because I don't want this video to get flagged for political content, but because we're moving, we're basically going to donate most of our emergency food supply that we have to our local food bank just to help some people out that aren't going to be getting some of the benefits that they're used to getting, and you know, hopefully there will be fewer hungry people. But yeah, if it hasn't crossed your mind, just check through your pantry and see if there's anything you think you can go without to help your community if possible. But anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on to Glinda, whom I said I ended up buying thinking I wasn't even going to be able to get Elphaba. I really think this is one of the most beautiful dolls that they've released this year. She is really, really, really pretty. I am generally not a huge fan of the Marie Grace head sculpt, especially on the original Marie Grace. But yeah, I just never find myself drawn to dolls with this head sculpt. And I don't even know if they've changed it that much. I just think they ended up with the exact right combination on this one. And it just, to me, it was the perfect choice for Glinda. One of the main reasons I ended up getting her is I really love the purple eyeshadow that they've done on her. I guess we'll look at that in a second. But yeah, I think American Girl knocked it out of the freaking park with these boxes. I have been a box complainer in the past because of, different reasons. I do think that the packaging for the standard like Playline American Girl dolls, like the Truly Me line and even the historical dolls, I think that they're kind of relying on past defaults that they've used, and I don't think that their packaging looks very good. I don't think it looks particularly luxury. That's my personal opinion. Again, I don't have the market research that they have, so maybe what they're doing is perfectly the best thing to do. But as a general rule, I don't like American Girl's packaging. But that being said, that's also a good thing because I'm not tempted to leave things in the box. So it's really nice to be able to enjoy most things outside of their box. And so I'm not really complaining that much that their packaging looks and feels pretty cheap. But with these collector dolls, they generally do a good job. I think in the past I've been a little bit critical about them overusing red, and I think that they finally kind of cut that out. They probably started to realize that all of these boxes are looking the same, and once you start seeing somebody's collection like in real time, like adding every doll that comes out, because there are people that collect all the collector dolls and they're like basically cover an entire wall of a bedroom now, and when you just see like a sea of red, it can be really hard to like even see the dolls themselves. I don't know. So I really am happy that we're starting to see the boxes really tie more in with the dolls aesthetic than like the brand aesthetic of American Girl. So I think that's a great decision. And not only that, these Wicked boxes, this Art Deco style that they used in the movie, like it is so beautiful, and all of this gold foiling, like these boxes would have cost a fortune to make. I couldn't tell you exactly. I haven't made in my professional career, I have not made boxes this nice before, but I would not be surprised in this economy if it cost them $10 to put them in these boxes, maybe more, because we have multiple layers. We obviously have this big plastic front. We have 3 layers of cardboard and this nice like wrapped laminated cardboard, and you've got the insert on the inside. It's like a lot went into the packaging on these. I know they spent a lot of money making these boxes look nice, and I gotta say, these Wicked boxes might be the most beautiful that they've ever made. I am just absolutely enamored with all of this detail. I'm guessing that a lot of this artwork probably or possibly came from the studio. I don't even know like what studio did the Wicked movie. I probably should know that. But anyway, I'm not sure if it's licensed artwork that came from the Wicked franchise or if it was the designers at American Girl that drew it up. But even still, even if they got licensed artwork, the way that they have put these boxes together is so incredibly beautiful with so many details, and they gold foiled the entire thing. Like even the backs have gold foil, and it gives it that very like Emerald City vibe, like the green and the gold. This is truly some of the best box design I have seen on any doll ever. I'm really, really, really happy with this. And that's why these dolls are going to live in the boxes. If these were just normal red boxes, I probably would have just thrown the boxes out. But these are truly collector quality, I would say. And again, one thing I guess I should preface is I don't think, as a general rule, things that are marketed as collector's items, generally I don't consider collector's items. To me, collector's items are things that are difficult to find because they weren't appreciated when they were, around their first time. So even like the first dolls from 1986, obviously they were appreciated, but American Girl was not an iconic brand in 1986. But when those first dolls came out, there weren't a lot of them, and they're really hard to find. That to me is more of a collector's item than something that they made 6,000 of and say, hey, here's a collector's item. Just as a general rule, you might find that most things that are marketed as collectible do not maintain their value. I think a lot of people buy these things thinking they're going to pay for college tuition or whatever. So don't expect these things to even be worth their retail price forever. But anyway, I digress. I buy things that I love, and I try not to focus too much on whether it's like valuable or not. It just so happens that most of my American Girl doll collection is valuable because the things that I like are super duper rare and hard to find. And it was really, really fun collecting them. So anyway, this Art Deco box is just a treat to behold. And that's why these dolls will ultimately live in their boxes on display. I would love one day to have a movie room. I don't know. We don't really watch that many movies. We are more of a YouTube, TikTok house. But in an ideal world where, you know, I had like maybe an extra bedroom or a dual purpose room, I could see having like at least a little movie corner and these dolls like on either side of the screen or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's a little corny, but I really want to commend American Girl on an amazing job on these boxes, because they just like every detail is just absolutely perfect. I love this logo that they even printed on this clear plastic. Again, this would have been so expensive to make. I see the quality in these dolls in these boxes. So yeah, even just down to like the yellow brick road, like around like framing the doll herself. I just love this. I can't say enough good stuff about it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get Glinda out of the box so we can actually see her with her hairnet off. I know a lot of people don't take these out of the box, and I can understand why. But like I said, I want to enjoy mine, and I kind of want to redress her. I've just realized that we're going to look at Raquel in a minute for a reason I guess we will talk about in a minute. Let me move her. I've just realized her like forehead has been in this video the entire time. One thing actually, again, when we talk attention to detail, whoever is doing the packaging design on these, I think deserves an A+ on this, because they have thought about every detail. Like, again, I'm obviously very critical of graphic designers and package designers, because that's like my trade basically, as as an actual person that used to have a real job. But like I said, every single detail I see in here, I just see somebody that is very meticulous and very good at their job. So one really cool detail that they ended up adding in here, and I've seen this on other people's stuff before, I knew this was coming, but is they added this extra little bump it here on the bottom, so both boxes would be the same height. I've actually looked at this doll already before, so that's why I'm not like, oh my god, really? But if you look here, I'm gonna see if I can pull it out, but it's basically just like a little riser. There's nothing to it other than just like matching the inside, like tone on tone printing on the box lining basically. But it adds an extra, I don't know, inch and a half, because Elphaba's hat is so tall. They obviously had to do a really tall box to make her be able to fit in it. And Glinda didn't need as tall of a box because her crown isn't as tall, but it would have been really annoying to display these side by side if Elphaba's box was like this much taller. That was incredibly smart to do that, because now the boxes are the same height. I already put my Elphaba on the other side of the room, so you're just gonna have to trust me on this one, but they are the same height even though they're not the same depth. But height was definitely the way to match them if they were going to do that, because you can just pull this doll a little bit more forward and they will look pretty much like the same size box anyway. So really smart decision on behalf of the packaging designers. I think they just did an outstanding job on this. So anyway, Glinda's box is lined with this like bubblegum pink, because obviously like there's a very strong aesthetic with Wicked, and Elphaba's color is green and Glinda's color is pink. So each of their boxes got lined with their appropriate color. And I can't remember if I've said this on the channel before, but again, they've just done a really interesting thing by using a spot varnish. Instead of like printing the actual pattern on the pink, it's just a glossy varnish on top of this sort of satin finish on the inside that I think adds such a luxurious finish on this inside, because there's a lot going on these dolls. So I think a lot of extra like printed patterns and stuff, especially with the outside of the box being pretty like busy in terms of design. I think that really subtle tone on tone pattern, like just that like Art Deco print in the back, that is exactly what this needed. I think these boxes really are perfect. I hope whoever is doing these boxes continues on this streak, because this is truly amazing work. So anyway, I ended up buying 2 Glindas. Like I said, I generally will buy 2. If I'm having to buy something online and I'm a little bit nervous, I'm not going to have the opportunity to exchange it later, I will generally buy 2. And I'm glad I did, because one of my Elphabas ended up not only like showing up with a dented box, she had a very uneven eye. And if you might want to skip forward a couple of minutes if you have a Glinda and you don't want to like start seeing something you can't unsee, because this is very common with Glinda dolls based on like all of the images and videos I've been able to see of her. So skip forward a few minutes if you don't want to have your Glinda doll's face ruined for you. But a lot of them have a squinty eye. I managed to get one that doesn't. She has a very like symmetrical looking face, and While I am a big proponent of American Girl dolls having slightly asymmetrical faces, I do not like when they have really asymmetrical faces. They ship a lot of dolls these days. You know, I feel like I'm seeing more and more where one eye is like this and one eye is like this. And it sort of makes it look like it's almost like somebody stepping on their toe. I think we're going to say that again in a future segment in this video because I filmed everything out of order. But one of my Glinda dolls definitely had the like, ow, you're stepping on my toe kind of face on it. Luckily, my other one didn't, and I think this one is pretty much perfect, but I did end up because I purchased it on Amazon. I did end up returning my second Glinda. I was just going to sell her, but I didn't in good conscience want to sell that doll to somebody else, knowing that it, to me at least, had a pretty glaring flaw. So anyway, this is a super duper pretty doll. I'm going to go ahead and start taking her out of the box now. I hope today's video isn't too deadpan. I'm really exhausted from everything that's going on in my life right now. Obviously, I've got a major life change happening. I'm not sleeping well because I have so much to do. I'm very anxious about everything. And so it's like hard for me to get on the internet and be like, hey, everybody. But even though I generally don't do that anyway, I am kind of a Daria. So I guess that's probably not surprising to you. Okay, I got number 3,970 of 6,800. So not an interesting number. Do not care. Yeah, let's see here. Do we have just as many straps on this one? I'm not going to take her crown off. Sorry, we're going to put her in a couple of the Janie and Jack outfits today, or at least one of them. And I'm not going to bother taking her crown out. I can almost guarantee it's not going to travel well if I take it out. But go watch somebody else's unboxing video if you really want to see the crown on her head. But we are going to take her out of the box at least. These are almost stretchy enough to pull them over her arm, but I'm going to do the same thing I did with Elphaba and cut her out of here. I hate doing this on something that I, ultimately may not keep. I plan to keep these forever, but you never know. Sometimes you have to make room for other things. Whoever ends up with this Glinda after me, I guess, will at least have the pressure of keeping something mint condition taken off of them. But yeah, I just thought this doll was objectively beautiful, and I really am starting to come around on the face paint on the eyelashes, particularly the upper ones. I do wish that they would draw it differently, but I have started to find myself more and more gravitated towards ones that have like upper eyelashes painted on, and I certainly really love the painted on eyeshadow. I gotta say, I know it's like some people don't like American Girl dolls with makeup, and I can kind of see the argument why, but there's like 200 and something American Girl dolls in existence, and plenty of them don't have makeup, and I think it's just fun to see something new. And I don't think makeup automatically equals like mature, like trying to mature them or whatever. I think makeup can be a fun thing for kids to play with, but I don't have children and I don't particularly like them, so I don't really have like a strong opinion on all of that, or at least any sort of like opinion with any weight in it. But yeah, I really loved her purple eyeshadow, and that's really what sold me on this doll ultimately, because I was like, this doll is so beautiful that I'm gonna enjoy having her, like, even if she doesn't live as Glinda. I'm probably gonna end up calling her Elphaba like 1,000 times in this video, so just sorry in advance. Ugh, this one is like strapped to her hand, so I think I have to take this out too. This is so annoying. This is one reason I don't like buying Barbies. It takes like 3 hours to take them out of the freaking box. I'm actually curious if any of you buy these collector dolls, how many of you leave them in the box forever and how many of you take them out? I will say, as a general rule, I think the American Girl dolls are pretty easy to put back in the box so they can sort of look factory new if you want to do that. I have a few that I've left in the box and never taken out, and then like these and maybe 1 or 2 others that I've taken out, like my Barbie that I ended up selling. It just depends on the doll for me. If it's one that I feel like I want to really take out and change their outfit and try some things with, I'll probably take them out of the box. But I really do like the experience of just having a factory fresh doll on my display shelf. I've kind of described that in another video. I can't remember if we've seen it yet or not, but I really like a mix. As a general rule, I like things out of the box because you can really see all the details a lot better without all the extra shadows and stuff. But as a graphic designer, I really do love having a lot of original packaging on the display as well. I just like to mix it up. As you can see, I think it creates an interesting vignette, or, tells an interesting story. I think for many of us, like, the packaging on toys was like part of the excitement. It's like just being in the store and like looking at all the things, like the packaging was like part of like what was trying to sell it to you and like get you hyped up. So I really do love toy packaging. All right, her dress is sewn into this box, which is very annoying to me, but I have no choice. I've come this far. I'm gonna have to snip it out, but I have a feeling it'll display fine. This dress seems like it's made with a pretty decent degree of quality, so it'll probably keep its shape when I display it in the box. I think this is largely to keep it in place, like in transit and certainly like in retail stores. Gosh, I feel like I'm playing that game. Like, remember Operation, that like board game where you tried to not touch the metal sides or you get like electrocuted? That's what this feels like. Paging Dr. Beat. Oh, this one has a hairnet on at least. That's good. I guess Elphaba didn't really need a hairnet because her hair was in a protective style. All right, I think all that's left is the neck strap. These don't pop like the other ones. Well, they kind of do. Oh my god, if this doll's hair is sewn in here, I swear to god she's going back to Amazon. Okay, she is out of there. All right, let me put this box to the side. We've gushed and talked about it enough. I'm not taking these accessories out. I might at some point, but the crown will probably come out in Australia and rest on her head. But I need this stuff to like travel decently. So all we're taking out today is the doll. All right, let me put this box away. Alrighty. Yeah, she's extremely beautiful. I gotta say, this is definitely my favorite Marie Grace head sculpt doll I've ever seen. And we're just gonna go ahead and take her hairnet off. You know what? I might regret this, but I really want to see her in some casual outfits today. And we're just, you know, we're gonna suck it up and actually enjoy the dolls for once and stop trying to treat them like they're these artifacts of history that are so well protected that nobody could steal them in a heist. Oh my god, I can't get this hairnet off. All right, pay attention to the screen if you want to see the hairnet removal because it's coming off now. Oh yeah, I have to talk during it or it's gonna get edited out with my like editing software, but here we go. Oh yeah, she has really nice hair actually. I love the color of it. It's a really yellowy golden blonde. It's not super ashy, which I think is really, really pretty. I want to say Ariana's hair in the movie was like a little more ashy than this, but I'm not mad about it. I gotta say, it really does suit this doll's coloring. So she has sort of these, I don't know what this is called. It almost looks like a topsy tail, but I don't think it's quite a topsy tail. But she's got 4 twists in her hair that come back and are fastened with, oh, this is sewn in. I actually appreciate that because I'm not going to take her hair down, but she's got like a clear elastic, which is, I don't know. I guess this was just a place they cut corners. I know that Mattel is assuming that like 90% of these dolls are just going to live in the boxes forever and not be taken down. So they do some things like, you know, sew things to their heads and whatnot. But could they have not at least put like a lilac rubber band in her hair instead of a clear one? I don't think those things like do any like dye transfer or anything. But I gotta say, that's actually a big, big pet peeve of mine. As somebody that's like obviously not a hair person, clearly, I don't enjoy when dolls have hairstyles that are just tied together with a clear hair elastic. That to me looks very unfinished. Like a clear hair elastic, I feel like is something you put underneath a ribbon or a scrunchie or some sort of hair accessory that's decorative. To me, like a clear hair elastic is an unfinished job, basically. So yeah, that's a -5 for me, but honestly, she'll be displayed from the front. It's not the biggest deal in the world. I gotta say, this dress is really nice. I think it's a little bit higher than Amazon quality, at least. Some of those like taffeta things that American Girl makes they're a little cheapy feeling, but I really think this is really, really beautiful. It's got this iridescent, like it's almost like a zebra stripe. It's like a swirly pattern that's like this holographic, like iridescent. It is so beautiful. She'll actually look good like on display just with my 80s and 90s collection because she's so pastel looking. So she might end up there one of these days, but I really love this sort of, I don't know if this is organza or what, but this fabric really sets this whole thing off because you can see here it's sort of like a plain, like swirly, marbled pastel, like almost like mermaid unicorn kind of color palette. That's very plain and boring, but when you layer it with this whole thing comes to life. This is a really great study in not necessarily color theory, but the way this layers makes this look like 1 + 1 = 3. I think this was such a good decision on this skirt, on this dress. I know people have had some opinions on the bodice on this dress. I really like it. It's got a ton of embroidery. I love when they do sequins on dolls if they are the 1/3 scale sequins, like they're scaled down for doll size. I do not like a full scale human-sized sequin on a doll, I think it looks really garish and clunky and weird. So the outfit on this Glinda, I think, is a slam dunk. I know a lot of people really wanted the original outfits from like the first movie poster, but obviously these are to coincide with the second movie, so they had to have fashions from those movies, and I think they picked really good ones. Elphaba's wardrobe I think is really interesting, but if you like really princessy, like just dolly doll outfits, this one is a slam dunk in my personal opinion. As somebody who's not like a super duper professional on this stuff, I just have collected a lot of things over the years and I know what I like. I really, really love this, including the silhouette. I love these like wings up here on the top. This is very, very pretty. Let's take it off her. It's not finished on the back, but again, I think that's a great place to sort of cut some corners. I don't have a clean doll stand to put her on, so she might have to lie down while we're dressing her and everything. But actually, before I do that, let me show you my clothing haul that I got basically at the same time. I bought a bunch of the Janie and Jack stuff for this holiday season because I liked pretty much all of it. And as a general rule, I like their collabs that they do with that brand. I think they do a pretty good job on making things feel current and modern and not so like, they're cute, but they're not cutesy, if you know what I mean. Well, most of it anyway. I know not everybody loved this collab this year, and I gotta say, I really would just love a standard red and green Christmas collab next year. Just something super duper traditional. I mean, I think a lot of us are looking back to the past to try and find some comfort. So I think having like a truly nostalgic, like 80s and 90s, just tacky ass red and green Christmas, I think would be really, really fun. I don't generally love like pink Christmas or ones that are meant to be like really funky. I do love looking forward to like, you know, some expected Christmas decor every year. So I really do love a traditional Christmas, but that didn't stop me from buying this stuff because I do think this stuff is objectively beautiful. Although some of it doesn't necessarily look super wintry. Some of it does. I really loved this ribbed sweater with this faux fur collar and pearl buttons. This spoke to me immediately. I had to have this. I really love these like mauvey shades of pink. It's like a mauve rose kind of color. Really, really pretty. Of course, anytime they make anything burgundy, you know I'm going to buy it. This isn't really technically burgundy. It's more berry, but this feels, I mean, as you can see, like very, very on brand for Pleasant Company American Girl. So I had to have that. At the last second, I decided to buy this gold skirt because I think I'll end up using it because I do actually have a decent amount of white and gold stuff for Christmas as well. Let me show you. This is my number 128 that's already decked out for the holidays. I've got her in an older Christmas outfit that is called, I think it's called All That Glitters. And I've got her in some stuff from like the Janie and Jack collection from last year and Dion from Clueless's Mary Jane's. I just think this is a really cute outfit. So I wanted to get some things that I could maybe have another doll kind of like be sort of twinning with her. So that's why I ended up picking this up, as well as this. And we're going to unbox all this stuff today and look at it. I just wanted to kind of show you what we're about to look at. And then I got this dress that I thought had like similar vibes to this, this older All That Glitters outfit as well. So I was excited to pick that up, as well as like the matching tights and purse. So yeah, we've got a few things to look at from the Christmas collection. Hang on, let me put her down. The last thing that I purchased from this collection is the strangest thing that they put in here, but I love it objectively. And it's this, what's it called? Rosy Cascade party dress. This is so not holiday looking to me. Again, it's all made up and, you know, traditional is not the only way to go, but I just thought this was a really odd choice for winter. This looks a lot more spring, maybe even fall, but this looks more like a spring outfit to me, but I'm not the professional. But that said, this is perfect for Courtney. And so I actually bought this to put in Courtney's collection as her Christmas dress because I can't remember if it was her Christmas dress in the book or not, but she is pictured wearing a Laura Ashley dress from the 80s, which were so iconic in the 80s and I think early 90s. So we're going to put Courtney in this today because I've been so excited to see this on her because it looks straight out of what would be in her collection. So I was really, really excited to pick this up. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get Glinda undressed. I got to say my least favorite of all time of doll hairstyles is curl, like especially loosely curled hair. They have like, I just cannot keep the flyaways out of these wigs. So as I sit here and continue to redress her and stuff, I probably should have left her hairnet on in all honesty, but her hair is just going to be like a gigantic flyaway mess and it's going to make me crazy. But that's the commitment I made in taking her out of the box. So let's put her in one of these Janie and Jack outfits. If I can carefully get this off of her, I feel like it's going to be really delicate because of all of this organza or whatever it is. I feel like I only know some fabric things because like I watched like several seasons of Project Runway like what 20 years ago. So I'm like, where the hell is my chiffon? But yeah, this feels super delicate. It seems like it's made out of like polyester or whatever, but I feel like it's so thin it's gonna rip. So I'm trying to be really, really careful. Well, in case you're curious, Glinda has lilac underwear, which I think is actually pretty cool. I like that they changed that up. It almost looks like it's on backwards. Or maybe it's because her head is on backwards. Here are her shoes, if you wondered. Nothing major, but they're covered up by the dress. That's a good place to cut corners because if you don't see them, I don't really want you to spend a whole lot of money on them. This dress really is so gorgeous. I'm not typically a person that loves really princessy things, but I love this color palette. This color is one of my favorite colors in the entire world. So this definitely spoke to me. All right, I'm not entirely sure what I want to put her in, but I think I'm gonna go with this combo because I think it will look good with her purple eyeshadow. So let's just give it a whirl. Like I said, I try and buy something from the holiday collection every year because I think it's really nice to be able to like dress your entire doll collection for Christmas every year. I think that's a fun tradition that people like to do. And that's kind of, honestly, it's been my way of decorating for Christmas the last couple of years because our life has been so chaotic and unstable for the last few years that we haven't felt stable enough to like decorate for Christmas. It just hasn't, I don't know. I don't want to get into all of that, but this has sort of been my way of decorating for Christmas for the last few years is just making the doll collection look really Christmassy. And that's really helped kind of scratch that itch for me. And I think for so many people, especially people that might live with their parents or, you know, live with roommates or whatever, and maybe don't necessarily decorate the house. I think having your like toy or doll collection all like gussied up for Christmas, I think can really kind of help put you in the holiday spirit. I will say this is very, very untraditional for Christmas, but you know, I'm not mad about it. It does make you kind of feel like you don't have to just take everybody out of their outfits immediately once Christmas is over. So if it's a little bit wintry or even like leaning a little spring, like I could see these dolls wearing this stuff like, you know, through February and March. All right, I'm just going to put the jacket on right over like her cloth body. I'm not going to put an undershirt on. I think it will cover everything up enough so I don't need to like bulk it out. This might need some steaming or something. Ultimately, it's definitely a little bit flat, but I really like it. But yeah, I think I ended up buying the entire collection for Janie and Jack last year, and I regret doing that because I was just like, well, I got most of it. I might as well get the final 2 or 3 things that I wasn't planning on getting because I don't love as much. Don't do that because sure enough, another year rolls around and then you've got just a bunch of clothing items that you don't want. And I think it can encourage you to like throw off American Girl's numbers and they're like, well, this will sell, and they don't make things that are as good. So if you really only buy the things you truly love, I feel like not only will you not end up with too many things and having to sell them later, this is really good quality, by the way. You just, yeah, you don't end up with a huge collection of things you don't use. And I definitely have some items that I've been trying to sell because I just got super in the holiday spirit and bought things that I liked but didn't love. So this year I tried to only buy the things that I thought I would actually use and love. This looks so good on her. But yeah, this is like a really nice like rib knit sweater. It is very, very thick. It's like thicker than Molly's original sweater. So this is definitely, in my opinion, American Girl sort of adding some quality back in what they're doing. You know, I feel like not every outfit we get from them is super high quality, but if everything was the same quality as this top right here, I think there would be a lot fewer complaints. This is so good, I'm tempted to order a second one. I'm gonna refrain from doing that because again, I'm just over the years trying to build a really decently sized holiday collection and I don't want to have too many duplicates. But this looks great and I think it looks smashing on Glinda with her coloring. I gotta find a pair of shoes, hang on. These are probably going to look insane with this outfit, but you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to put Lila's shoes on with this outfit. I know these aren't very wintry shoes, but the color looks really great with this mix of pinks. So we sort of have like a pinky purpley kind of thing going on. But you know what? She's a doll. She doesn't feel feelings. I hope. Does this look like ass, like having open-toe sandals with a sweater? I feel like it does, but you know what? I'm white trash, so I think we're just gonna run with it. Maybe we'll try a different pair of shoes on with her as I get through these boxes. But I gotta say, this looks pretty good. You know what? The shoes are actually bugging me. Hang on. Let's try these glittery boots for something super out there. What do we think of that? Is that too weird, y'all? That might be a little bit weird. Yeah, let's try one more thing. You know what? They're not tied, but I actually think that looks pretty cute. I don't know. I'm clearly not a stylist. I feel like Rachel Zoe would be super disappointed. Oh my God, look at my hair right now. I swear to God, I'm about to buzz my hair off if y'all don't talk me out of it. Okay, one more thing. All right, this is gonna have to do. I know we're mixing metals, but I've got some silver glitter ballet flats from a few years ago. That's gonna work for now, I think. I think she looks really good though. All right, the question is if she'll stand here or is she gonna nosedive? But we're gonna try and leave her in frame for a little bit. I don't have a doll stand for her. All right, I need somebody else to put in an outfit, and I don't know who I'm gonna choose. All right, I think I know. All right, here's a random doll that I've said I'm gonna sell a million times and then I never do. This is my, I think she's number 124. I can't remember. She's the Truly Me doll with the Corinne head sculpt that is so gorgeous that every time I look her in the eye, I think, you know what? I can't do it. I truly think this is one of the most beautiful head sculpts they've ever made. So yeah, I'd be crazy to sell her, I guess. So I think what we'll put her in is maybe the sparkly cream celebration dress for 18-inch dolls. All right. So I do think this one is quite similar to the one I just showed you on my other Truly Me doll, but we're going to give it a go anyway. I thought it'd be fun to have some that sort of like, you know, they sort of match and they sort of don't. I think it can create like a really fun, cohesive, like themed looking display. So I ended up picking it up even though it's very similar to something I already have. Also, speaking of the coolest things they've ever made, these shoes are some of the coolest shoes American Girl has ever made. I would love these in different colors. Like if we could get these in, they're dusty, hang on. If I could get these with black soles on them, I would be unstoppable. Or even like gummed soles, sort of like Doc Martens are. I would love more alternative fashions for these American Girl dolls. A lot of what they make is super like cutesy and girly. Obviously, I mean, it is a doll brand for children, but I would love to see more like mall goth inspired stuff, just like band tees, mesh, like long sleeve shirts, Jinkos, maybe not Jinkos, but you know what I'm getting at. I like them to be like dressed a little bit more alternative because, you know, that's just what I like. This is cute. It's very like aged down. This almost looks like a Bitty Baby dress to me, but we're gonna keep soldering on. What else was in this outfit? Oh yeah, the main reason I ended up buying this is I love the shoes and socks that came with it, so I am excited about those. And even if I don't ultimately use this dress, I will at least use the shoes and socks, I think. It also came with this really cute ring that we're not going to put on today because it's going to immediately get lost. And so you probably can't even see it on camera, but it's really cute. It's like a gold glitter ring that's like the size of a seed bead. Anyway, let's get her shoes and socks on. It's funny that it's not even Halloween yet and I'm dressing the dolls for Christmas, but we'll have Christmas this year, but we won't like be decorating or anything. So I'm trying to like have my own little personal Christmas with a toy collection before we peace out of here. So it's going to be really interesting being in Australia because I've never been there during Christmas. And so like for those of you that don't know, Australia's in the southern hemisphere, which means the seasons are reversed. So it's going to be like 104 degrees on Christmas Day. Now, so like my partner's family, like they obviously don't bundle up by the fire and like drink hot cocoa. They like barbecue by the pool. So like developing new Christmas traditions is going to be interesting as someone who is, you know, I like leaning on nostalgia and that kind of thing. Obviously, that's like my whole personality at this point, but it's going to be interesting, like having Christmas not maybe be as nostalgic. Although I've been joking that we're just going to stay inside and like pull the blinds down and jack up the AC and just pretend it's snowing outside. But I don't know. I really think it's time for something new. I think a new chapter for us is going to be good. You know, as with anything, it's, you know, as my mom says, you get some things and you lose some things. And I think that's probably what's going to happen with this move. You just inevitably give things up when you move. And I'm just really excited about having a new chapter. It's been a very challenging few years. And I think having a new start in a new country will add some, you know, zest for life, I feel like. So I am excited about that. But as they say, wherever you go, there you are. So I don't expect it to fix all my problems, but I am really excited for a new chapter. I'm also going to be starting a new YouTube channel, which is really exciting. We've been discussing it for a long time, you know, between my partner and I, but we've been floating around a lot of different ideas, and I'll give more details on it later, obviously, but we are still like hashing out like all of the details and stuff. But once we get settled and, you know, make sure that this channel is, you know, on track and getting everything that's expected of it, I'm going to be doing some new content in a new space, which is really exciting. Now, that said, it's not going to take away from this channel. This channel is still priority number one, particularly with the Patreon as well. So none of this is going anywhere. Like I said before, I know a lot of people have been concerned that because I'm moving out of the country that I won't continue this channel, but nothing is going to change. Like I said, I have big plans for this channel, and I'm going to be relying on this channel even more than I have been. So I am completely committed to like not only maintaining it, but trying to grow it as well. All right, this is very cute. Again, I think it's very toddlery looking, but we'll go ahead and put the headband on it as well, which I think is going to like seal the deal that this is like a super youthful outfit, which there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I generally like to have the American Girl dolls look more like teenagers than like, I don't know, tweens or younger. But this is cute. I think I should have gotten that jacket. I didn't get the furry jacket from this collection because it's so similar to the one from last year, but I kind of regret not getting it now because I think it would make this dress look a lot more grown up. So I might pick it up in my next order because my birthday's on November 14th, and so I am going to treat myself to something big this year, but I don't know exactly what it is. I am considering getting all of the long hair looks dolls because I really, really, really like those. So I might just treat myself to the trifecta of those. So when I do that, I might buy the fur coat for to put over this outfit to kind of age it up a bit. But one of the things I always like to do on outfits that have multiple like layers of tulle or like organza or whatever this is to try and separate the layers a little bit so they're a little bit more poofy, because they're always like really flat from production and shipping and stuff. But if you go in and actually separate all the layers, there's actually an additional layer on here. Hang on. And sometimes you really have to like stretch them at the seam, not stretch, but like separate them at the seam to kind of get them to sort of flounce out a little bit like this. But if you look at this, like, look how much more voluminous that looks. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but you can really make that a nice big skirt if you really kind of take some time to separate the layers. But I do think she looks super cute in this. I got to say, I don't have any regrets at all about purchasing this. Like I said, it's a little youthful looking, but it's still very, very pretty. Do you want to compare it to the other one? See how cute they look together? They're sort of like alternate universe twins. I don't know. They're the same, but not the same. I think this is really cool, especially because the dolls also have like kind of similar haircuts and skin tone and stuff. But yeah, I think they'll look really good on display together. I might actually pick up the jacket just to make them look that much more twinny. All right, anyway, let me put this one back. One thing I was kind of curious about, I know that I don't really have a top to go with this skirt, but I thought this might actually be an interesting underlayer for a different skirt or dress or something. So I'm going to see. Might not even put it all the way on the doll because we are running so long today. But see here. Oh yeah, it's not even anywhere near long enough. I thought maybe it might be fun to try and layer under like this, for instance. So if it just poked out a little bit, it would add like that extra layer. But she would have to be like bagged, sagging berry, like to have this. I don't even think it would go above her legs. Let's see. Might still look good. I'm gonna try it. All right, she's sagging big time. So this is definitely not around her waist, but I do think it actually looks pretty good. So if you're just displaying them and you have this random extra skirt, which the fabric is really nice on this. I think it's synthetic, but it's got almost sort of like a leather feel, like it's sort of like fuzzy and soft on the inside. This is made a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be, so I'm happy I picked that up. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna leave it on her like that. I was also thinking about layering it under this skirt as well, which I guess we might as well try since we're here. Well, that looks insane, but yeah, I tried. All right, you would think this is like exactly what a 4-year-old's YouTube channel would look like, so sorry in advance, or I guess sorry in retrospect. I think you've been watching this for like an hour or something. Sorry about your life that you're not getting back. All right, anyway, let's put these two right here. And I think all that's left to look at is, oh yeah, let's open this accessory pack. All right, let's put her right here. I want to open that accessory pack real quick. It's funny how you'll treat a collector doll like any other random doll when you take them out of the box, because they really don't feel any different. They're basically the same quality and everything. Anyway, let's look in here. Oh, this is really cute. I like this purse. It's similar to the Stardust holiday doll that they had. I think it was last year. It's obviously meant to go with this outfit. It's very up like that. This could be styled better, but you know what? We've still got a lot to look at today. And I don't even think I'm going to split this video up into multiple parts. I think we're just going to make a big marathon and we're just going to chill for a while. Hope whatever you're working on is successful, even if that's taking a nap or falling asleep for the evening. This would look actually pretty cool tone on tone with this, but I am really bad with tights and snagging them. So if you wanted to see this on a doll, you're probably not going to see it today. Sorry, I'm going to really need to take my time putting these on. I don't even know which doll. I don't know what outfit this is going to go with. But then we've got this really, I don't like this headband. I got to say, there's something about it that annoys me. So I'm probably not going to put it on a doll either. It's just a piece of plastic to look like different sized pearls. I don't like it. I'm not going to use it. All right, let's go ahead and put Courtney in her Christmas outfit. That's actually the thing I'm most excited about today. So let me put this stuff away and we'll get Courtney out. Actually, you know what? Real quick, I did want to show you what Raquel looks like for Christmas because I thought this was like the perfect thing to put her in, right? Because this outfit from last year was inspired by Samantha's cranberry party Christmas dress. So I put her sort of in, you know, the modern version of that. I thought it was appropriate for her character. So I don't know. I will admit I am considering not keeping my Raquel. Even looking at her in the monitor, she's still pretty. It's not that I hate this doll or anything. I just really do not like her eye color. So I don't know. I don't collect Girl of the Year, and I bought her because she was part of Samantha's like lore and everything. But I'm debating either returning or selling her. We'll see. Maybe you can convince me otherwise in the comments, but I don't know. I'm not vibing with Raquel the way like I did when I first got her and was like really hyped about the story and everything. So again, I'm just having to be really careful what I keep in my collection as well. So I don't know. She looks really cute in this, I do have to say, and actually looks really good with the rest of these, surprisingly. But all right, I guess we'll put her here. Is this too many dolls in frame? What has my life become? All right, anyway, let me grab Courtney. She's right behind me. I actually pulled this hat aside to put with this dress because I think it's going to look perfect with it. All right, this is how my Courtney exists currently. And I gotta say, I freaking love this doll. She is one of my favorites in the current American Girl lineup. I was alive in 1986, so while I wasn't like fully conscious, I do remember the 80s quite fondly. And, you know, this is a little bit of a cartoon version of the 80s, but I still enjoy it anyway. It still gives me all those feelings. So I kind of put her in a custom outfit that I've cobbled together with one of the old Truly Me outfit, like t-shirt dresses, like the tie-dyed one, her meat skirt, a pair of yellow tights, and shoes from her collection, and then Corinne's leg warmers. So yeah, I really like this outfit, but I want to see what she looks like in this Laura Ashley looking dress. So give me a second to put her in that while I rest my voice. Hello, this is literally perfect. So I am tempted to get another one of these because when I like something so much, I want to get a backup one in case I mess it up. But yeah, this was basically made for Courtney's collection, in my personal opinion. Now, if I had one of Molly's Dickie collars hanging out somewhere, that would be the perfect thing, I think, to sort of finish the look off, because a lot of times those dresses had like really big collars and stuff, and that might be something that would kind of help make it look that much more vintage. But yeah, I had this hat and her jellies lying around, and these basically, I think, go with this perfectly. I could see maybe adding like a pair of white tights or something with this, maybe Mary Jane's to make it look a little more Christmassy and wintry, but this is so 80s looking to me. So this was a really fun addition this year for Christmas. I gotta say, they could have very easily slightly modified this and made this dress part of Courtney's collection. I kind of wish they had done that because I feel like they're not releasing as many new things for the historicals as I would like, and we generally are not seeing seasonal things for historicals nearly as much. But had they basically made this with a big white collar for Courtney's collection and called it her Christmas dress, I think they would have sold that many more of them. But maybe in a future year, we'll see. But I gotta say, I am really glad I purchased this because I think this is just about perfect. All right, I'm basically being overrun by dolls, but I am gonna show you two more things before we jump to the create your own doll boxing that I technically filmed yesterday. But I did get the 2025 reproduction Peaches and Cream Barbies. We're not gonna spend much time on this. This has really become more of an American Girl doll channel, so I know that most of you don't care about these. I fell for the hype with the Barbie American Girl Peaches and Cream versions, which I really love, and they're probably in my collection forever, I have to say. And I fell in love with them so much that I bought the reproductions from Mattel Creations, and I'm kind of regretting it. So that's why I'm like not going to unbox these today because there's a chance I'm just going to sell these. I think this one's actually worth more than I paid for it. So if I sell these together, I might be able to get my money back. So I just want to think really long and hard before unboxing these, because my original plan was just to unbox these and not bother getting the originals, because I don't really collect Barbie that seriously. I do have a decent amount of them, but I don't have most of them out on display. I'm about to sell all of my ones like before, like the 80s, but I thought maybe I would get these and they would look really cool on my display. But I really don't love what they did with the bodice on these dresses. They aren't nearly textured enough. I know I'm fidgeting like a bunch, but like my screen's overtaken by dolls, but I just felt like they weren't quite right in terms of what they looked like. And it was mainly like the way the dress is. So I am highly, highly considering selling these. So that's why they're not coming out of the box. But if I was going to keep them, I'm taking it out of the box. I got to say, I don't like these boxes. I think that the overall shape of them is good, but I don't like the drawings. They're very, very cartoony looking. So I don't know. I'm seeing them on screen and I think, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Just put them on like a back shelf and you'll enjoy them. So we'll see. The jury's still out whether or not I'm going to keep these. So for now, I'm not going to take them out of the box just in case I get a wild hair and actually do sell them in the next couple of weeks. But I did purchase these because I love the American Girl ones so much. But yeah, these are good, but they're not like so similar to the vintage ones that I wouldn't rather just pay a little bit more money and get the true vintage one. So anyway, let's put these away and stop looking at them, because I am 99% sure that 99% of you don't care. All right, so now we're going to cut over to my create your own doll unboxing that I technically did yesterday, but you're going to see it in just a few seconds. I really, really love create your own dolls. I couldn't resist the urge to get one final one before leaving. So I'm just going to cut to it and I will see you yesterday. All right, this section is going to be a little bit of a non sequitur because I am filming this ahead of time of the rest of the stuff that you're watching, but I'm in the middle of moving. Everything is chaos and I need this gigantic box out of my life so I can basically enjoy this doll for a couple of days and then pack him up to move him overseas. So, but that's why I'm wearing my big boy slop clothes that I go to the grocery store in. I mean, I felt like it was close enough to my normal uniform for this channel. Anyway, this is going to be my last create your own doll for the foreseeable future because I am moving to Australia and I can't cheaply get these to me. So I've been trying to work my way through the different skin, eye, and hair color combinations for the, I guess spoiler alert, we're going to open the doll in just a second anyway, but the Josefina head sculpt is my favorite head sculpt that American Girl currently offers, certainly in the Create Your Own line. And I really, really love that short haircut that is very boy-coded. You can obviously do girl and non-binary dolls with that same haircut, but I always use it to like make my boy dolls for my collection. And I've amassed quite a few over the last couple of years, or honestly, it's only been like a year and a half, but I've really kind of hit it hard because I love it so much. I have about 4 or 5 slight different variations of this doll, so you can probably a little bit predict what combinations I got. But like I said, unless I like manage to score a nice cheap one on the resale market, this is probably going to be my last one new from American Girl for a while. And to be honest, y'all are probably sick of seeing the same combination with slight different variations. Anyway, let's go ahead and tear into the box. So this was one of 2 combinations that I was hoping to get before moving, and I ended up accidentally running out of time to get the second one because I thought these were going to take 3 weeks to arrive, but this one actually took an entire month, and I don't have a month left to order and unbox and pack one, so this is going to have to be the last one. And then, you know, maybe for some big splurge, you know, next year, maybe I'll end up spending like $400 basically to get the one that I'm missing. But let's go ahead and get the box open so we can lay eyes on my brand new Create Your Own boy doll. So unboxing alert in 3, 2, 1. So they have a really nicely tied satin bow on here as per usual. I love these boxes. They are so high quality. It feels like luxury designer goods. And let's see if I can spin around and we can both see him like for the first time together. I'm trying to like remember exactly what I ordered. That's kind of the fun thing about CYO is you order something and you kind of move on and stop thinking about it. And then the box arrives. You're like, wait a minute, what color eyes, what outfit? And I guess we're about to find out now. All right, here we go. Okay. I say that every time. Like, oh, he has a cute face. His clothes are a little bit disheveled. What happened to you on the way? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get him quickly out of the box so we can start messing with his hair. I really love the color, but it's very much like poofy factory look, and I want to get like my hands on it and kind of style it the way that I like to, because I'm pretty much a pro at this now because I've had so many dolls with his haircut at this point. And as you might have just seen, I got him with the newly, I guess, restocked, what's this outfit called? Is it casuals? I've completely forgotten what this outfit's called, but it's the one that we all love. It's my favorite of all time, and I was so sad when they discontinued it because this is what I would have gotten for the most part on most of my CYO dolls, because there's like, it's just, I don't know, it's not a perfect like masculine outfit. We've got, oh, his neck wasn't strapped in, so that's interesting. I'm glad I caught him. Had the like soccer mom save. Yeah, this like completely popped off. I think a newbie might have strapped him in at the factory. So anyway, let me go ahead and take his accessories out of here, and we'll ditch this box so we can maybe not block as much of my light because it is gray as anything outside. It seriously feels like a Portland winter, and I'm filming this in very late October. It's almost November. But anyway, yeah, I was so sad that they had discontinued this outfit because it's very boyish. I love this buffalo check. Like, it's basically a flannel like button-up shirt, and it actually has functioning buttons. I only have one of these outfits, and I'm so glad they brought it back, I guess just in time for me to get only one more. But I always have a doll with this, maybe not the entire outfit, but at least with this shirt on. So really quickly, I'm going to take some of the packaging off of him, put this over here. Wow, his wig looks a little funky, I gotta say, where it's glued down in the front. I think this is my first, no, this is actually my second Create Your Own doll since they brought them back after discontinuing them in the beginning of the year, presumably because of tariffs. But yeah, I love this pink. I know not everybody loves this sort of like cotton candy light pink, but this is such a pretty color. I absolutely love it. So I ended up going with a Josefina in the number 30 skin tone because I only have one with a number 30 skin tone for a Create Your Own doll, which is actually a girl doll. If I can remember, I'll show you later, but I'll probably forget. But it's basically this exact doll, but with like a dark brown curly afro, and I love her so much. But I wanted a boy combination basically. So he is very cute. I really have to say, this Josefina head sculpt works for any gender, any skin tone, and every single doll I've gotten with this head sculpt, I've just absolutely loved. I do think this red is throwing him off a little bit. Let's go ahead and take this coat off because I think we'll get a better sense of his color palette with this pink hair by not having like this garish red and black top to go with it. But I gotta say, this is a really great combination. I'm glad that you're always nervous to order something from the Create Your Own line because a lot of times what they show you on the generator is not what you receive in person. It's really hard to know what your doll is going to look like unless you can find somebody else on Instagram or YouTube that's ordered a similar doll already. And it's really difficult for me because not many people order dolls with this haircut. And one of the reasons I've ordered so many of them is I'm always a little bit nervous that they're going to discontinue it. So I've just been trying to get every version of it that I can. But I have to say, like, if I were going to continue ordering these dolls, I absolutely would be getting a girl doll with pink hair. I wish they made again, it's boy coded. It doesn't have to be for a boy doll. You can use any gender for this wig, but there is a short curly wig that they generally market on boy dolls, but again, it would work fine for any gender, but they don't make that one in pink. So if I were going to get another pink wig, I'd probably get the medium length straight hair with this color. I really do like this color. If you're considering pink and you like pastels, this is a really great pink. I'm gonna grab my other Create Your Own doll. I can't remember if he's been shown on this channel or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab him anyway so we can kind of compare a sort of similar doll. All right, this one doesn't have a name because again, I don't really name my dolls. I've tried it, but it just is not something I really care that much about. But here's another sort of similar combo where we've got a Josefina head and we've got I did that backwards. I was like trying to grab his glasses off, but yeah, it's a really similar combo except for their hair color and their skin tone. This one looks sort of like he's wearing a wig. I'm gonna see if I can kind of slick this down. I don't generally like super poofy hair, at least on my own head, so I do the same thing with with my dolls. But I really love the, what do we call them? Not unnatural colors, fantasy hair, the bright colored hair. I always like these on dolls. I really would have loved to have had hair this color when I was this age, but I have pretty conservative parents and they weren't having it. I'm gonna swap their outfits while I'm yapping real quick because I'm actually really curious. One of the things that I ended up getting Raquel's accessory set for were these pink sunglasses because I knew I was going to be getting a doll with pink hair, and I felt like I wanted something that would really like tie in the color palette with this doll because I want to see. I don't know exactly what I have. I might have to find some other things, and I might not even be able to get everything on him today because so many things are packed up. But I thought you might at least like to see him because again, he's getting packed up in a couple of days anyway. But yeah, I've just been gradually trying to find some like gender neutral silhouetted pink stuff that would work for this new doll I got today. Anyway, let me get this outfit off of him. Yeah, I feel like this outfit will work decently enough. But anyway, yeah, I've just been trying to pick up pink things here and there, which typically isn't difficult, but obviously you didn't want like skirts and stuff for this guy. So anyway, his underwear is pink, so I guess that matches. I do wish they would let you pick which underwear. I mean, I know this is like a low-key, like creepy thing to say, but it would be nice to be able to pick the underwear style for your create your own dolls. But that is not an option. So anyway, ditch that. Let's get him quickly put in this outfit. Wait, 1 second. Yeah, I think this doll like borderline has like what we call like wonky eyes. They're not that bad. I actually do like a little bit of asymmetry. So I'm not one of those people that goes and tries to make sure their eye sockets are exactly the same. But what I don't typically like is when a doll has the whites showing under one eye but not the other. That makes it to me look like somebody's like stepping on their foot or something. And I think he's fallen a little bit victim to that, but I don't think I'm going to have time to exchange him. So he's just going to, that's just how he's going to have to be forever, unfortunately. Be forever. I said the cursed word. Maybe that's why his eyes are like that. But let's put this jacket on him. I have like a couple of Courtney's like acid wash jean jackets because they're one of my favorite clothing items American Girl has ever made. So I have one reserved just for my like Truly Me and CYO dolls. So yeah, this guy might have permanent sunglasses on because, you know, his eyes, like even just to look at him from a distance, it's not that big of a deal. In fact, it's borderline being too picky to exchange him. But, you know, if I was picking from a lineup of dolls that looked exactly like this, there's probably one that I would pick over this one just because of the asymmetry in the eyes. I did get him with freckles, by the way. I pretty much always do that because if for some reason later on you decide you don't like the freckles, you can always just take them off with acetone. So every single CYO doll I get has freckles. But the good thing is overall he has pretty good facial harmony. And again, I'm just not one of those collectors that really cares that much about teeth being centered and lip paint being just perfect. I think as long as when you just look at them, they vibe and they look good, I think that's really what matters the most. Like I said, my main two issues with this one are that one eye is a little bit more closed than the other, although, you know, as I'm aging, I feel like that is how my face is starting to like turn out anyway, so maybe it's a prophecy. Yeah, his hair might need a little bit of training. I'll grab a hat in a second so we can see what he looks like with some headwear, but I think with a little bit of hair training, he's gonna be pretty good. So let's go ahead and put, what's her name? Raquel's sunglasses on him to see. I've been waiting for this moment for like weeks. I've been so curious what these sunglasses would look like on a doll with pink hair like this. And if I can get them on, hang on. All right, what do we think? I actually think that looks pretty cool, I gotta say. I really love the sort of like monochromatic vibe he's got started. So yeah, like I said, as I can hunt some things down, I will probably try and make him almost a completely pink outfit. I might leave the jeans on him maybe, but I will say a lot of American Girl's sunglasses don't love staying on. I guess it depends on the model of sunglasses and the head sculpt you're trying to put them on, but they almost always end up like crooked if they'll even stay on in the first place. My Raquel is actually particularly bad. Like she is basically refusing to have any sort of sunglasses. Like out of all of my pairs of sunglasses I have for American Girl dolls, none of them are staying on her head, which is really annoying me because I personally do not like the eyes they chose for her. It's really the only eye color that they make that I don't like. I don't know. I just don't think it like complements her vibe. But yeah, I am like this close to returning my Raquel because I love her in theory, but I don't know, those eyes, I don't know, maybe I'll do an eye swap on her and then she'd be fine, but I don't know. I'm not collecting Girl of the Year anymore. Anyway, this isn't about Raquel. It's just about her glasses. But yeah, I think this actually looks pretty good. I did get another accessory specifically for this as well, so let me grab it really quick. Actually, I'll show you another doll while we're at it because I sneakily bought this doll a few months ago and never like showed anyone, but I really love her, so I'm gonna show her to you. This is my Truly Me 109 that I panic bought because she was limited quantities and it basically ended up selling out. I think they have a few more left of her currently, but this is one of my favorite Truly Me dolls that they've ever made because I just love her combination. Obviously a Josefina, I'm just, you know, I love every Josefina. So I just really liked her combination, like with her eye color, her skin tone, her hair. Like I really love her hair. I love the pink streaks in it. It's very like late 90s Y2K. So yeah, I grabbed her sort of at the last minute. I had her a while ago and just never took her out of the box basically and ended up selling her. And then, you know, I just, you know, sometimes you let something go and you think like, I kind of missed that doll, and that was the case with her, so I ended up buying her again, and that's sort of the beauty of collecting things that are still available to buy retail. You know, if you are unsure whether you want something, you can just sell it, and then if you really miss it, you can buy it again. So anyway, this is my 109 wearing Summer McKinney's Waggy Pup Tails hat. I finally, a few weeks or months or whatever ago, found somebody on eBay that bought her like little farmer's market card or whatever that had this cap in it. This was my single favorite thing from Summer's collection, and you had to buy this like $100 and something like food cart to get this hat, but somebody bought one and split it up and sold the hat for, I don't remember. It's probably like $15 or $20, maybe more, but this is all I wanted from it. So I ended up getting this finally, and I love the color of it in person. It's really, really cute. So my 109's been wearing it because I think it complements her sort of similar vibe. Actually, these two look like they could be friends because they kind of have pink hair and a whole pink thing going on. But anywho, that's my 109. I feel like I'm talking chaotically, but I'm just blaming it on how chaotic my life is right now. I'm going to set her down, take a breath, and maybe try and talk a little bit slower. So anyway, let's put this cap on him. And I generally don't put them on forwards, but we can try it anyway just to see what it would look like. But it's all very like Summer McKinney branded. Actually, it's pretty cute, I gotta say, but I like a backwards cap. It's very little kiddish to me. I typically don't wear my cap backwards, except for the odd occasion if I'm filming with a hat on. Sometimes I'll flip it around backwards just so you can see my face a little bit better or for worse. But I actually think this looks pretty cute, but it does hide his hair quite a bit. So I'm gonna try, see what I mean about these glasses? They really can struggle sometimes, but yeah, let's put his hat on backwards and see what that looks like. This is generally my MO for a doll ball cap. So yeah, if you want to know how I kind of do it, I've sort of developed this method. Again, not many people have this haircut with a ball cap, but one thing that I like ended up starting to do with my boy dolls that have caps on like this, so I like to put it on backwards, and what I'll do is just take the end of a pair of sunglasses or whatever. I mean, you can do this with your fingers, it's fine, but I'll just go in and basically crochet out just like a little bit of hair like that. I don't know, I just think it makes it look that much cuter to have just like a little bit of hair popping through like that. So I gotta say, I thought he was gonna be wearing this cap, like this was gonna be his hat, but you know what? It doesn't change his aesthetic that much because it's like a pink hat with pink hair. So it's sort of like a waste of the pink hair to have him in this hat. So yeah, this is probably the last time you'll ever see him in it. Although he does look really, really cool, but maybe I'll find a different cap for him later on. So yeah, no to that. But yeah, this wig can be a little bit finicky to style because it's not like long. You can't really do a whole lot with it. You can style it sort of up and down. And if you really love a doll, but you feel like it's got sort of a weird wig line, like mine, I feel like I can see just a little bit of the stitching on it. You can always kind of brush them down and that can look really cute too. And sometimes it can take some training and really working with it to kind of get it to sort of go downward. So you can kind of do this sort of thing. You can do, obviously you can flip it up. This is how it was like intended to go, but I think it looks more feminine to have it like really coiffed up like this. So I would save that maybe for the non-binaries and the girl dolls, but I feel like I like sort of something in between. I like it's just sort of swooped to the side, but a few pieces going down. Is this the most boring channel ever? I hope you're having a nice nap. But yeah, it just takes some training over weeks and sometimes months to get their hair to kind of sit exactly like you want it to. I'm gonna grab my first CYO that I ever made because I think his hair is looking pretty good right now, and it'll kind of illustrate my point. This is one doll that I've named that's actually kept his name. So I named him Finn, which is short for Josefina, but now that I have like 8 of these, I feel like it makes no sense to have one named after Josefina and the rest not. But anyway, this is probably, if he's not my favorite, he's one of my favorites. But I gotta say, I think if I was gonna keep any of my CYO dolls, it was gonna be him. Who is stealing focus? Is it Little Miss Candy Stripe or is it me? Anyway, I don't know why the focus is being really weird today. I guess maybe because it's dark, but I just think this doll looks so cute. So he's a number 35 Josefina with the dark brown hair, and he's got, like me, a green right eye and a blue left eye. Although my right eye is only partially green, but you know, who's counting? So if you're ever curious about like the difference between 30 and 35, it's a lot more stark than I actually thought it was going to be. I'm going to take his glasses off so you can see his skin tone a little bit better. But to see them on camera, I can see how different these are. I actually like to look at photos, and certainly in the generator, this skin tone looks a lot closer to this. I think they lighten this and darken this, so they look a lot closer, but you can definitely see how they've justified 30 versus 35. These are very, very different skin tones. Sadly, I don't have 20 or 25. As I mentioned before, one of the combos I do not have that I was planning to get was either a 20 or 25 with either the black hair or the light brown hair, probably black, but I was going to do green eyes, number 20 or 25, and the black hair, because I think that would have been a pretty good comparison. But at least today you can see the difference between 30 and 35, and it's actually a lot more stark than I thought it was going to be. So that's good. Anyway, let's put him back before we look at the accessories really quick. Oh, also while I'm thinking about it, everybody always tries to come up with the best text to put on their, like, because you get to customize this little sticker. I'm trying to remember. I think the one that people were doing for a while was like one of a kind, and then the custom text is just like you. Because I think it's really meant to have the child's name on it, but most of us insane adult collectors are buying like one of these a month, and we're not going to put our names on them, especially because sometimes we end up reselling them. So you don't want to give your doll a name and you're like, this is my doll Checkers, and then you sell Checkers, and people are like, why did he name his doll Checkers? So I've just been doing designed by American Girl. I feel like that's the most generic thing that you can do for the label, and that way if you do need to sell the box or the doll in the box, you've got something kind of generic that'll work for anybody. So that's what I do for all of my CYO boxes, is designed by American Girl. Feel free to do that on your own boxes. I won't be mad. Anywho, I'm going to stand him up. I'm going to leave his glasses off so you can kind of drink him in while we're doing this. And if you want to like decide whether or not you want a CYO with pink hair. But I got to say, the pink hair really looks good with the number 30 skin tone. I like how like the color story works, because dolls as well as humans have their own undertones in skin, and some of them can be warmer, some of them can be cooler, and I think number 30 is a very warm skin tone, and this pink is a very warm pastel pink, and I think it looks, honestly, I think it looks perfect on him. I'm really, really glad that I ended up with this particular combo. I have a feeling that this light of a pastel pink is going to look better on the warmer skin tones and not as much the cooler skin tones. But you can let me know in the comments if you have that combo and you like it, because I would be curious to see it. But all in all, I'm really, really happy with this combo. And I also went with the brown eyes because whenever I do like a really funky hair color, I don't like the eye color to compete with it. So I felt like giving him, like, even the gray eyes almost look kind of bluish in a way. So I just felt like brown was the most neutral color. It's my favorite eye color. I just love brown eyes in people and also in dolls. So yeah, I just felt like it wouldn't clash with his outfits or anything or his hair. And I'm really happy with that choice. I have like a handful of create your own, well, maybe not a handful, but I have a few create your own dolls with this eye, like with the dark brown eyes like this, and I really, really like them. So yeah, I don't think I'd change anything about him actually, other than his eye socket being, you know, a little bit wonky, but oh well. All right. Oh yeah, I got the Christmas set. I don't know why. Oh yeah, one of the accessories that comes with this outfit is this hat, like this little beanie, and I think these are really nice. I guess I'll just stick it on his head, why not? But you kind of have to find the right like styling for this as well. I think that looks pretty good, at least in the monitor. So yeah, we'll give him a hat. It is cold outside after all. But yeah, I ended up getting the Christmas accessories, and I don't even really like them. I guess I thought I would sell them, and maybe I will. If I hurry, I can maybe sell them. Yeah, we'll quickly look at them. I don't think they're that exciting. We have this like sequined stocking, which, you know, is fine. I'm not generally like a millennial, like, you know how I blame millennials. I know we shouldn't like blame any generation, but I feel like this was such a millennial thing to like dude spends on traditional holiday colors, so like pink Halloween and all of this stuff. I generally for holidays like traditional color palettes because I like the familiarity and just something that's like expected. So like pink Christmas is not my thing. Like I either like it super neutral like white and gold, or just your traditional like red and green. So anyway, yeah, I'm not super thrilled with the pink stocking. I will probably sell this. We have this little plastic plate, which I guess is meant to hold these cookies. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to open them because I just, I don't think I should keep this. I have so much stuff, and I'm well aware of the fact that I have too much stuff because I'm packing and running out of space. So I am at a point where if I am lukewarm on something, I am not keeping it, even if that means breaking up a set. But anyway, we've got this little, oh, this is actually cute. I could see keeping this. This little, I think it's milk in a jug with this sort of like candy cane stripe straw in it. That is actually very cute, and I think I might keep that because that will look cute with some of the Christmas outfits I have. I actually kind of like these carrots too, but I'll probably sell them. I guess this is for the reindeer. We have a letter to Santa that reads, "Dear Santa, I thought you and your reindeer might be hungry, so I left you some snacks. I decorated the cookies myself." Damn. Hello, Rachel Ray. That's some really good decorating for a 9-year-old. I'm really hoping for an American Girl doll and a new bike this Christmas. I can't wait until morning. Wow, I asked for both of those things at that age too, and I only got one of them, but I promise I'm not bitter. And then we also have this pair of candy canes that are like these pastel, like lilac, mint, and pink. Again, I have no use for this. I'm selling it. I'm selling this plate. I did get the pink glasses, and I actually have a few pairs of these, so these are going to get sold. Actually, do I have a pair handy so I don't have to open these? I do. I already have a pair of these, so I'm going to sell these as well. Check out my shop at idreamofjohnny.com if it's still open. So yeah, I feel like this would complement his hair color. I don't know. I'm not a person that wears, I guess I'm also not a person that has pink hair too, but I generally like neutral colored eyeglasses, even though I've seen some really awesome looking, like brightly fun colored eyeglasses. I just don't feel like it works for my face and coloring. But I actually think that looks pretty good. I do like the different shades of pink. Like the glasses are a little bit darker and the hair is a little bit lighter. So it's a little bit tone on tone. So I feel like that could work for him. We'll leave that there for a second. But yeah, I don't need 1,000 pairs of these. I'm selling most of these accessories. So anyway, that is my brand new CYO doll. I hope you like him. All right, as of filming this, I have no idea where this video is getting published. So if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to check out my Patreon where there's tons of extra exclusive American Girl doll content, and that's how I'm putting food on the table at this point. So I really appreciate the extra support because that's how I'm able to continue making doll content for YouTube while also being able to not starve. But seriously, thank you to everyone that's on the Patreon, and also thank you for watching today's video. And if you want to keep hanging out on YouTube, I have tons of extra content there as well. So maybe you'll like this video right here, and I hope to see you there. All right, bye.